So I get a lot of questions about how to get started on something. Now, this YouTube page is kind of an ironic place to do it because it might be the one platform I don't really excel that great in. Well, there's a couple other platforms, but if you know me, I'm probably from Instagram, and my other social media is maybe through Twitter, which is at least a little bit better than this. But YouTube isn't the place where I really do much work in. I try and make some videos, but I mean, they're not really highly edited, and I at least have a microphone, so the audio sounds okay. But it's a great example and even an ironic platform to even talk about this. So people go, Max, I want to get started about X, Y, and Z. How do I get my platform built? How do I have the followers? How do I get engagement? Blah, 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 blah. Those are all byproducts, a symptom of your content. It is not necessarily the end result. I don't go on here and make a post intended to gain followers. I make a post that I think people will have value in, and that's the key word. Anytime someone follows you or you follow someone else in that case, there's a reason. There's a value add. In return for you subscribing to my YouTube page and tuning in every now and then when I chat about some things, it's because you think what I have to say might help you. It might have some value. It might bring you an edge, a benefit, something that you find to be a positive in your life. You are not joining my page because you just arbitrarily, I don't even know. You just arbitrarily follow me. I suppose that's the case, but that's not going to happen very much over a long period of time. You're not going to get thousands of followers if you just put content out for the sake of content. And so that's what kind of bothers me at times when people go, you just need to get started and start making content. Well, kind of. You need to make content that you yourself would actually enjoy. You need to make information that you yourself would engage with. So when you decide to go out and make something, there's a couple of steps that I like to think about before I do so. Now, I don't do much thinking to things because I'm very impulsive by nature, but ultimately, you want to maybe at least have a little bit of a framework when you go forward. The first thing is, actually understand the purpose of the discussion. For example, the purpose of this discussion is to tell you that you should have a purpose to your discussions. It's to help to give you a little guidance when you make content. So, number one, have a purpose to the content. Number two, make sure that purpose is something that you actually care about. I could make content more on basically, for example, on something maybe more generally interested or polarizing or something that's a hot topic that might be more with the quote unquote now and current interest, but it's not my interest. My interest typically is in kind of the fitness, sports science, strength conditioning world. So I might venture a little bit out sometimes, but for the most part, I post things that, I find interesting. Why? Because number three is you should actually enjoy doing this. If it's not going to grow right away, it's going to need to have consistency. And if you don't actually like what you're doing, you're not going to be very consistent with it in the first place. So actually enjoy what you're doing. And then there's kind of three things I like to try and avoid. Number one, it's kind of almost an umbrella statement for the following too, but don't be perfect. I'm not going to make a YouTube video and spend 9 hours editing it if, for example, I don't even have any followers in the first place. Now, you might want to make a good enough quality video that has nice audio, for example, just get a microphone, but you don't need to make this world-class premiere kind of thing. Number two, I should say, good job at counting there, Max. Number two is that when you go out to make a video, don't let the judgment of yourself stop you. And what I mean by that is, for myself, I often want to make a video. And when I initially first started doing this, it was very awkward to watch myself on camera. I didn't like hearing myself. I didn't like seeing myself. And so I would judge myself and be like, I can't put that up. I don't want to do it. I would judge myself outside of even posting. But you're not posting necessarily to yourself, you're posting for other people. So if other people don't like the content and they don't want to engage with it, well, maybe then that's a reason to start to move on to another piece of content. But don't let yourself be the limiting factor. And number 3 is actually, well, listen to what's going on. And what I mean by that is if you keep posting the same thing over and over again, and you're not further expanding down on that one bit of information, or listening, in this case, to yourself or others' responses, saying, hey, that's kind of the same thing you did, or maybe let's talk about this topic, well, you might be missing out on some easy information that you could talk about, right? If your listeners are giving you some input, you could be, well, piggybacking off of that. But you don't want to not listen to yourself, I guess, or listen to others and get so caught up. And what that leads to is essentially, I see this a lot, people map out content over like a month. They say, oh, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this, and this. But they don't have any reason why they're doing that, right? I guess that's kind of like if a 3A was the first part, this is 3B. Don't go out and try and map out your whole content in a month, especially if you don't really know what people like to listen to you or why they like to listen to you. So those are kind of some bits of information I wanted to share here because it is kind of awkward to make your first videos. I agree. I feel awkward at times when I make these videos still, and I made a lot of videos, been on a lot of podcasts, and never is the easiest, but I do my best to make sure I am not going to push myself out of the situation and not limit myself and do it with a purpose. Make sure it's enjoyable, make sure it's useful. So I hope you guys actually enjoyed this, and if you do, you can feel free to subscribe and share, and maybe we can grow this page in a little bit of something, because right now it's a little bit of nothing, but it'll take time. And if you guys have questions or comments, let me know. I'd love to make this something interactive. If you want to hop on here and talk about something, let's set up a Skype, let's chat 5-10 minutes and see what's going on. I have no idea. Let's make this fun and enjoyable. I want to use this platform to be a little more creative. And again, appreciate you guys listening and hope you all enjoyed.